All right, you guys, welcome. We are starting Unit 3, and we're going to be doing some review today before we jump right into a brand new topic. Um, I'm going to tell you right now for this assignment in Delta Math that even though I have not given you a bunch, because look, I'll open it up right here. Okay, I've only given you 3 problems here, and I've only given you 2 problems here. If you are struggling with those and you need more practice, do more. Delta Math will create new problems for you because this is a really important concept, but we are in Honors Math 1, and so we have topics we need to cover, and certain topics I have to, like I've said, gauge for the understanding that you do know how to do these, okay? All right, so we're going to jump right in with finding the slope. Now, this should be a review. All right, it says, what is the slope of a line that passes through the points -3, -3, and -18, -23? All right, so if you don't remember your slope formula, all right, so slope, we use m equals, okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? Now that only works if they give you 2 points, all right? So you have to have 2 points that we call x1, y1, and then the second point we call it x2, y2. And it really, I'll be honest, let me fix what I'm saying. It should be y sub 2, y sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 1. But I'll be honest, even I say y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, but those are really subscripts, okay? So you have to have these 2 points to plug it into your formula. All right, so let's look at our example. So they want me to find the slope, and they've given me -3, -3, and then they've given us -18, -23. All right, so if you want to find the slope, I tell all my students when I teach this topic for the very first time, um, you want to label these points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. If you'll just take the time to make that simple step, then when you plug it into the formula, you won't struggle. Okay, so m equals, the best way to memorize a formula is to write it down until you have it memorized, until you don't have to look up here. When you can write it down from memory, okay, you know you have the formula memorized. Okay, all right, so m equals y2. Y2 is -23 minus y1 is -3. Watch how I write that. Okay, the formula says I take y2 minus y1. Well, y2 is -23 minus -3. So I have to write it this way. Divided by x2, -18, minus x1, which is -3. These are the hardest problems. So if you can do this one accurately, perfectly, every single time, that's great. Okay, so if I don't have a calculator, how do I make my life easier? Well, I know that if I have 2 negatives, that equals a positive. So that's really -23 plus 3 over -18 plus 3. Okay, so -23 plus 3 is -20. And -18 plus 3 is -15. Okay? All right, now you have to simplify your fractions. A negative over a negative is a positive. I can divide the top and the bottom by 5, so 4 over 3. So that is my slope. Now, I will be honest. You can go from here to here, okay? If that's all you need to write down. you're welcome to utilize, if you need a calculator to help you, you're welcome to use it. Okay. So if I go over here, 4 divided by 3, submit my answer. Yes. Okay. And you can see I showed the exact same work that Mr. Delta Math did. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go over any more examples of slope. Let's look at the next one. Okay. It says write the equation of a line fully simplified slope-intercept form. Okay. All right. So again, this should be a review. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So when I am given a graph, okay, so when I'm given a graph, I have to determine the slope and I have to determine b. Well, remember, b is your y-intercept. Okay, where do I cross the y-axis? Okay. All right. Now, that's actually the easiest one to determine, okay? Because you just look at the picture and you're like, oh, hey, I cross right here at y equals -6. So my b is -6. All right, your slope, okay? So your m. So remember, you've got your slope formula, but if you remember slope, you may have been taught rise over run. All right, now your rise, okay, that is your change in y. And I wrote a triangle there. That's a delta. That means change. And then your run is your change in x. Okay, so what does that mean? Y is your up and down. X is your left or right. Okay, so it's how do you get from one point to the next? So notice Mr. Delta Math here. He's giving you lots of points. All right, so if I pick this point right here, okay, and it doesn't matter which point I pick, I have to go in a straight line and I have to get to this point. So I go up 2. So that's my rise. So my rise, which is in the numerator, I went up 2. Okay. So now I'm here. My point's here. Now I know you can see my mouse. Okay. Actually, let me bring up my cursor here. Okay. So I went up 2. All right. Now I got to travel in a straight line this way. Well, I go 1, 2, 3. So I went to the right 3. Okay. All right. So since I went up 2, that's a positive 2. So 2. And since I went to the right, that is also positive. So 3. So there's my slope. So there is my slope and my y-intercept. And now I plug it into y equals mx plus b. So m is 2/3 and b is -6. So now I just fill it in. Y equals 2/3 times x minus 6. Now, I wrote down a lot of stuff that you don't need to write down, okay? So just keep that in mind. So now if I go here, okay, so I write y equals 2 divided by 3 x. Notice I didn't put x next to the 3, and then minus 6. Submit my answer. Yes. There we go. Okay, so now look what he did. Okay, see how he went from one point to another point, but he got the same thing for his slope. All right, let's try one more, and then I'm going to cut this video and do another one. Okay, now notice I'm not going to write anything down, so I'm going to set my pen down. Okay, so it says write the equation of a line fully simplified in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I know y equals mx plus b. All right, so now I need to replace b and I need to replace m. Well, b is easy. We cross at 4. So I've replaced b with 4 because I cross right here at 4. Okay, now my slope, okay, that's going to be a fraction. Okay, so if I start at any point that I want, so I'm going to start here at this point and I'm going to go to this point. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2. So I go up 1, right 2. That's it. Submit my answer. Yes. And again, he used just points that were further apart, but it does not matter. Okay. You can use points that are right next to each other. You can use any 2 points to find the rise and the run. Okay. All right. Good luck, you guys. And if you've got any questions, you know how to contact me.